All right, let's talk about something that sounds, well, kind of boring, right? Recording the daily temperature. It's a task you might do in a science lab or for a garden. But what if I told you that inside this simple task, there's this hidden logic, almost like a secret handshake between yesterday's weather and today's?
So here's the big question, the thing that gets this whole thing started. Can today's temperature actually break a rule set by yesterday? It sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? But, it's the key to this really smart system for making sure the numbers we write down are actually, well, accurate.
And this is the rule itself. Take a look. The minimum temperature must not be greater than yesterday's average temperature. And then, the maximum temperature must not be less than yesterday's average temperature. I know. At first glance, it reads like something out of a super dry instruction manual, right? But stick with me, because this is the puzzle we're here to solve.
Okay, so to crack this little code, we've got to start with the basics. We need to understand the daily process first. It's a simple ritual, really, just a few steps that lay the groundwork for everything else.
Okay, so it all boils down to these 4 simple things you do every day. First up, you calibrate. Got to make sure your gear is telling the truth. Then, you read the numbers. Easy enough. Next, you record them. And finally, and this part is super important, you reset the whole thing, so it's fresh and ready for the next 24 hours. See? Calibrate, read, record, reset. Simple, clean, and you do it the same way every time.
So, we've got the routine down. But the real secret, the key to that weird rule we saw, isn't just in what we do. It's in the specific bits of information the protocol tells us to write down.
And here they are, the 3 musketeers of our temperature data. We're not just jotting down what it feels like outside at lunchtime. Nope. Every single day, we have to record the minimum, the maximum, and the average temperature. Each one is a vital piece of our puzzle.
Let's start with our first clue, the minimum temperature. This one's pretty straightforward. It's the absolute coldest it got over the entire 24-hour cycle. Think of it as the temperature's floor for the day. And on the flip side, you have the maximum temperature. This is the day's high point, right? The warmest moment in that same 24-hour window. This is the temperature's ceiling.
And now for our final piece of the puzzle, the average temperature. This is just the mean of all the temperature readings from the whole day. It smooths out the highs and lows and gives you the day's overall story in one number.
Okay, deep breath. We've got our clues, minimum, maximum, average. We've got our process, calibrate, read, record, reset. Now it's time to put it all together. Let's solve this thing and figure out how yesterday's numbers are the boss of today's.
Okay, let's circle back to that first rule, but now with everything we know. Today's minimum temperature has to be less than or equal to yesterday's average temperature. Now, just think about that for a second. Yesterday's average already includes all of yesterday's highs and lows, right? It's the middle ground. So for today's absolute coldest point to be somehow warmer than all of yesterday's average, that would be really, really weird. It's a huge red flag that something's probably off. And the exact same logic just flips around for the second rule. Today's absolute highest temperature, its warmest moment, has to be at least as warm as yesterday's overall average. If the peak of today's heat was still colder than yesterday's average, your alarm bells should be ringing. Something isn't right.
And that is the big reveal. This isn't some weird law of nature we've stumbled upon. No. These rules are just a super clever, built-in fact checker. It's a way to validate your own data, right there on the spot. If your numbers break one of these rules, it's like a little alarm bell goes off. It screams, hey, something might be wrong here. Maybe you forgot to hit reset, or maybe you just, wrote a 7 instead of a 1.
And this whole thing just perfectly shows a much bigger idea. Why does all this precision, this seeming obsession with the rules, why does it matter so much for a task that seems so simple?
Because it's these simple, totally consistent rules that turn what could just be a random jumble of numbers into actual, reliable, logical data. This protocol makes sure that every single day is logically connected to the day before it. It creates a chain of trust. It's literally the difference between hearing static and hearing a clear signal.
So, there you have it. A really simple daily task, just checking the temperature, has this incredible hidden layer of logic built right into it, all designed to make sure the data is solid. And, well, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other simple things that we do every single day have their own secret logic, their own clever system, just hiding in plain sight?